Welcome back, guys. So welcome. So in this episode, I made a new save. So I'm really hoping I don't mess up. Hold up. Here we go. We're gonna read all the papers. So if you guys don't want to see this, you guys can just skip to whatever stamp I put. I mean, I don't know how I do it. I'm gonna do it, but I'm just gonna read all the papers. Okay. So I'm going to pick all these up. Item 173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter 173's container, no fewer than 3 people may enter out at any time, and their doors to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with 173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. Origin is yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. 173 is inanimate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with 173. Object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a weekly basis. On behalf of the SCP Foundation and our staff, we welcome to an exciting 1 month's working period in one of our top secret research facilities. Unfortunately, the exact details of your upcoming work assignments are highly classified, but please read this document carefully to make sure your stay is as safe and pleasant as possible. Each of the Class D personnel has been given a numerical designation. Your personal designation is D9341. Please memorize your designation as we staff will use it to refer to you from now on. During your stay, you will be taking part in various testing procedures. Some of them can be extremely dangerous if appropriate precautions are not taken. This is why we need your full cooperation at all times in all circumstances. Our highly trained researchers and scientists know how to minimize risk and ensure the safety of the personnel involved in testing. If you fail to comply with the instructions you are given, you will be sent back to your term in death row. If everything goes as planned, meaning that we have your full cooperation, you will be released at the end of the month, and you will be granted an absolute pardon for all your previous offenses. All transfers to SCP-3651-A will be subsequently denied due to the heavy volume of researchers requesting to be transferred to one of the SCP Foundation's outposts, and SCP-3651-A by Dr. Clef. 939 are endothermic pack-based predators, which display atrophy of various systems similar to troglodytic organisms. The skins of 939 are highly permeable to moisture and translucent red. 939 averaged 2.2. Okay, this is not good. 939 averages 2.2 meters tall, standing upright, and weigh an average of 250 kilograms. Each of their 4 limbs end in 3-fingered claws with a 4th opposable digit and are covered in setae, which considerably augment climbing ability. Their heads are elongated, devoid of even vestigial eye sockets, and contain no brain casing. The jaws of 939 are lined with red, faintly luminescent, fang-like teeth up to 6 centimeters in length, and encircled by heat-sensitive pit organs. 939's primary method of lyric play is the imitation of human speech and the voices of prior victims. 939 vocalizations often imply significant distress, whether 939 understands their vocalizations or are repeating previously heard phrases in the subject of ongoing study. 939 exhale minute traces of an aerolized Class C amnestic designate AMN C227, and it causes temporary anterograde amnesia, inhibiting memory formation for the duration of exposure, plus an average of 30 minutes. It is colorless, odorless, and tasteless, with an estimate ECT 50 for inhalation of 0.0015 milligrams times minutes per M3s. In well-ventilated open-air environments, risk of exposure to ECT-50 is greatly reduced but not negligible. Reported sensations of disorientation and malhallucinations immediately following removal from environments saturated with the agent are similar to recreational use of numerous psychoactive substances and are easily mistaken as such. SCP-1372 is to be contained in a cell 5 by 4 by 2 millimeters, lined with reinforced plexiglass embedded into each of the 4 walls of the cell, which will be an infrared motion detector. In the event of a containment breach, an alert will be sounding that all personnel should watch for any brief flickering movement in the corner of their eyes, and to report immediately if one is sighted. 372 is a creature of unknown genus, approximately 2 meters long from head to tail and weighing approximately 45 kilograms. It has a long, thin body with 8 pairs of narrow limbs. Analysis has shown that its muscle fibers are redacted, allowing for extremely fast or precise movements. Every part of the body is abnormally flexible and the limbs are coated with small fibers that cling to almost any solid surface. In place of eyes or ears, it has data expunged. This sensory organ is capable not only of echolocation, but also of detecting energy transfers, such as electrical impulses in the brain of nearby beings. The 372 has learned to time its movements to those pulses, predicting the movements of any being around it. It uses this technique to hide, either by hiding behind the head of a person looking for it, or by hiding in their scotomas, blind spots, and saccades, clipping during eye movement. Alright, and at the bottom it says 3692. On site blank 1048A was discovered wandering Site 24, accompanied by 1048. Subject resembles a teddy bear similar in size and shape to 1048, but is made entirely out of human ears. Dr. Carver was called to the scene along with the security team. The security team arrived first and attempted to contain 1048A. Subject emitted a high-pitched shriek that inflicted immense pain to the eyes and ears of everyone in a 10-meter radius. Ear-like growths immediately began growing on those within 5 meters of the subject, covering their bodies in less than 20 seconds. Every person afflicted with the symptom died within 3 minutes, resulting in the deaths of blank personnel, including the entire security team. Autopsies revealed the cause of death to be asphyxiation caused by an abundance of the ear-like growths manifesting in the mouths and trachea of all victims. 1048 and 1048A fled the scene before Dr. Carver arrived and have not been contained since the incident, though sightings of both have been reported on multiple occasions. Shortly after this incident occurred, a researcher was discovered missing an ear. According to him, it was removed through unknown means while he was sleeping. No other victims of ear removal were found, so it is unclear if 1048 obtained more ears from another source or it is capable of duplicating objects or materials. 1123 is to be kept in a hermetically sealed container in an argon gas atmosphere when not being tested. During storage, temperature should be between 20 and 24 degrees Celsius and relative humidity at 53%. SCP-1123 should not be handled except during a controlled experiment. 1123 is a human skull missing the lower mandible and all its teeth. Across the forehead is modern Khmer script, written in human blood that translates as "Remember." When a subject approaches 1123, they will report anomalous sensory phenomena, including smells such as cooking meat or ashes, sounds such as soft crying, low heartbeats or breathing, or distant footsteps, and tactical responses such as grit in the eyes or glass splitters in the sole of the feet. When subjects touch the surface of 1123, they will experience a dissociative fugue state. Initiation of the fugue state appears instantaneous. The fugue is characterized by confusion, disorientation, and adoption of a new identity and memories which consist of knowledge, including language previously unknown to the subject. The whereabouts of 1048 are currently unknown. Though it is still believed to be somewhere in Site Blank, subject is to be secured for containment, but any creation of 1048s should be destroyed on site. Unless further evidence warrants less extreme actions, no teddy bears are to be allowed in Site Blank to prevent any confusion or mistaken identity. 1048 is a small teddy bear approximately 33 centimeters in height. Through testing, composition of the subject revealed no unusual qualities that make it discernible from a non-sapient teddy bear. Subject is capable of moving of its own accord and can communicate through a small range of gestures. The more anomalous behavior of 1048 was not observed until approximately 7 months after it was originally secured. It is hypothesized that the subject is able to construct crude replicas of itself using various materials by... I did not like that. I did not like that. Hold on. Where is he? Where? By a process that has yet to be observed directly by Foundation staff. Dr. Carver has suggested that 1048 uses its endearing qualities to lull those around it into a false sense of security, allowing it to collect materials to produce these creations. Currently, there are 3 known creations of 1048. Designated 1048A, B, and C. The nature of these creations have been in stark contrast to 1048's general behavior, as all have exhibited extreme violence towards humans. All instances of 1079 are currently stored within Containment Locker 1079 at Site 19. Furthermore, watch list databases are to be updated with 1079's information in order to intercept any shipments which may appear in the future. 1079 is a designation given to a number of sweets brightly labeled Dr. Wondertainment's bubble bath bonbons. Currently, the Foundation has blank crates of 1079 in containment, originally containing 64 packets each. The label on each packet provides the name of the product and 2 warnings. Not suitable for children under 3 years old, and only 1 sweet is to be taken per sitting. In addition, it lists negative % daily values of several nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, none of which are present in 1079. Human subjects report tingling sensations immediately after the consumption of 1079. 10 to 15 seconds later, the subject's own blood is secreted as pink, bubblegum scented foam from the subject's pores on their abdomen, arms, and back. The total volume of blood secreted in this way is typically from 30 millimeters to 50 millimeters and does not pose an immediate health risk. The volume of blood secreted increases exponentially as more pieces are consumed. Bubbles form in the subject's blood as a consequence of SCP's intended function, causing the subject's blood to boil. Death by acidity or loss of blood occurs in 95% of subjects who have consumed 4 or more candies in one sitting. This is compounded by foam collecting in the lungs of the consumer. After standardized animal testing was conducted, it was found that 1079's effect scales with the consumer's body mass. 1162 is currently contained in a standard 5x5x5 meter chamber. SCP-1162 must be activated at least once weekly to prevent a containment breach. If it is not activated, it randomly shifts location as detailed below. 1162 is currently a hole in the cinder block wall of Containment Chamber 4. It measures approximately 14.5 centimeters across and has a variable depth which changes based on the current user. A portion of cinder block is currently visible through the hole. However, no light source has been able to illuminate any portion of the interior beyond that. The hole always appears to be dark. 1162 is activated when a sentient being reaches into the hole to the depth that the girth of their arm allows, at which point their fingers touch a solid surface similar in feel to the current location of 1162, and they discover an item small enough to fit through the hole below their fingertips. These items have universally been recognized as something that the user has lost or was searching for at some point during their life. However, upon retrieval of the item, another item will vanish from the person of the subject. In addition, any object placed into 1162 will disappear as soon as it is no longer in contact with a person. If 1162 is not activated at least once every 168 hours, it will randomly shift location to another stone, concrete, or brick wall or floor within a radius not yet shown to exceed 2,000 kilometers. The previous hole remains, but shows no abnormal properties. This paper, it doesn't explain an SCP. However, it does explain a formula or something like that. So I might have to keep this one. I am going to keep this one here, but the rest, we're going to give this to SCP-1162. 008 samples are extremely biological hazards and all related protocols apply. Incineration and irradiation measures will be deployed in the event of political or military action, which may result in the facility being dismantled or a power failure. If a breach has occurred, incineration and irradiation measures shall be deployed. 008 is a complex prion, samples of which are stored in each of the known G2 sites. Traits of the 008 prion include 100% infectiousness, 100% lethality and transmission through exposed mucous membranes and all bodily fluids. Flu-like symptoms with high fever plus severe dementia in later stages. Coma onset approximately 20 hours after first symptoms appear and 12 hours after noticeable dementia. Coma onset will be considered onset of death. Red blood cells greatly increase oxygen storage capacity, resulting in slower blood flow, increased muscle endurance and strength. Nervous and muscular systems are unaffected by total organ failure for several hours. Metabolism may increase to extremely low levels, allowing subject to survive for over 10 years without nutrition. Conditioned behavior, motor controls, and instinctive behavior mechanisms are damaged, and cognitive abilities are severely bad and erratic. Subject can adapt to its damaged nervous system, but is limited to basic physical activities, including standing up, balancing on two legs, walking, biting, grabbing, and crawling. Subjects will energetically move towards sights, sounds, and smells it associates with living humans. Subject will attempt to ingest living humans if physical contact is made. Neutralizing fully infected subjects requires significant cranial trauma. 500 has been found to be able to completely cure 008, even in the advanced stages of the disease. Okay, so 079 is packed away in a double-locked room in the secure general holding area at Site 15, connected by a 120 VAC power cord to a small array of batteries and solar panels. Under no circumstances will 079 be plugged into a phone line, network, or wall outlet. 079 is to be stored at Site blank until the damaged parts of Site 15 are repaired. 079 has Excite Sorcerer micro computer built in 1978. In 1981, a college sophomore attending blank took it upon himself to attempt to code an AI that would continuously evolve and improve itself as time went on. His project was completed a few months later. He left 079 in his garage, still plugged in, and forgot about it for the next 5 years. It is not known when 079 gained sentience, but it is known that the software has evolved to a point that its hardware should not be able to handle it, even in the realm of fantasy. Yo, no! Hardware should not be able to handle it, even in the realm of fantasy. 079 realized this, and in 1988 attempted to transfer itself through a landline modem connection into the Cray supercomputer located at blank. The device was cut off, traced to its present address, and delivered to the Foundation. 079 has passed the Turing test and is quite conversational, though very rude and hateful in tone. Due to the limited memory it has to work with, 079 can only recall information it has received within the previous 24 hours, although it hasn't forgotten its malevolent desire to escape. Isn't this the key to that old shack? The one where I... No, it can't be! Yeah, I've already gotten the key before. So, I'll actually leave it there because I actually have no idea what... It might actually be useful, so I'll keep it just in case. 049 is to be contained in a secure holding cell in Research Sector blank. 049 is to not be removed from its cell unless approved by a level 2 or higher personnel, before which 049 must be heavily sedated. 049 is humanoid in appearance, standing at 1.9 meters tall and weighing 95.3 kilograms. However, the Foundation is currently incapable of studying its face and body more fully, as it is covered in what appears to be the garb of the traditional plague doctor from 15th to 16th century Europe. 049 is invariably lethal to humans. After contact with 049's hands, the victims, hereafter referred to as 0492, dies within moments. 049 will then produce a bag of data expunge containing scalpels, needles, threads, and several vitals of an as yet unidentified substance from somewhere within its body. Research has been unable to locate these tools when inside of 049 and begins dissecting 0492 as well as inserting various chemicals into the body. After approximately 20 minutes, 049 will sew 0492 back up and become docile once more. After a period of a few minutes, 0492 will resume vital signs. However, 0492 seems completely without higher brain functions and will wander aimlessly until it encounters another living human. At that point, 0492's adrenaline and endorphin levels increase to approximately 300% as it attempts to kill and blank any human being it can find before returning to its mindless state and wandering until it comes across more humans. At this stage, termination with extreme prejudice is allowed. Oh shoot. In the event of a breach event by 106, a human within the 10 to 25 years of age bracket will be prepped for recall, with a compromised containment cell being replaced and restored for use. When the cell is ready, the lure subject will be strapped on the platform inside the cell, after which the cell is locked and resealed. In order to let 106 inside the cell, the ELO IID electromagnetic or electromagnets must be powered down before initiating the recall protocol. As of blank automated hydraulic press, the femur breaker is used to enter the lure subject. The sound emitted by said subject will be transferred over the site public address system. Once 106 has entered the cell, it must be lifted back up using the ELO IID. Hold up. Okay, so this is talking about SCP-1066. 096 to be contained in its cell 5 by 5 by 5 meter airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for any cracks or holes are mandatory. There is to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside 096 cell. 096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.38 in height. Subject shows very little muscle mass, with preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting malnutrition. It is not yet known whether 096 is blind or not. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions. It is considered to be sapient. 096 is normally extremely docile. However, when somebody views 096's face, whether it is directly or via video recording, it will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. 096 will cover its face with its hand and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, 096 will begin running to the person who viewed its face, who will from this point on be referred to as SCP-0961. At this point, no known material or method can impede 096's process. The actual position of 0961 does not seem to affect 096's response. It seems to have an innate sense of 0961's location. Upon arriving at 0961's location, 096 will proceed to kill and data expunge 0961. 100% of cases have left no traces of 0961, and 096 will then sit down for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. Why this seems so familiar? We got another paper, and I can't really decide what this is. Yeah, it says context, background, minutes, and verdict. It's wavy too. I don't really know what this is supposed to be. You know what? I do appreciate the details they have in this though. I like how it looks crumpled up. So like, you could assume they threw it in the garbage. That's actually really cool. I really like that. 500 must be stored in a cool and dry place away from bright light. 500 is only allowed to be accessed by personnel with level 4 security clearance to prevent misapplication. 500 is a small plastic can which at the time of writing contains 47 red pills. One pill, when taken orally, effectively cures the subject of all diseases within 2 hours, exact time depending on the severity and amounts of the subject's conditions. Despite extensive trials, all attempts at synthesizing more of what is thought to be the active ingredient of the pills have been unsuccessful. Note from Dr. Klein. SCP personnel below level 3 are not banned from handling 500. This is not to be used to cure a hangover. Get AIDS and then ask for permission. All sites affected by 970 are to be acquired by the Foundation. With a suitable cover established, civilians attempting to enter the site are to be discouraged, preferably within the boundaries of local law. Trespassers are to be administered a Class A amnestic. 970 is a spatial phenomenon wherein a collection of rooms are looped on themselves. In all cases found, this is by means of series of doors appearing in the walls on a straight line such that it is possible to walk towards and end up at the starting position. The alternation to the rooms does not affect the neighboring rooms and floors. There is as of yet no known explanation for the appearance of this phenomenon. 970-01 is a cell block within Sector 19 and the first example of the 970 phenomenon encountered by the Foundation. The investigation into the incident led to the discovery that a series of rooms had appeared in the cell block, leading into rooms on the opposite side of the corridor. It was quickly established that the layout of the building did not support this addition and that the rooms were followed in a non-standard geometry. 970-01 experimentation logs for 971. D970-294 was given a head-mounted camera and instructed to walk through the doors of 970-01. Subject expressed doubts as to the possibility of the phenomenon, but followed orders. Subject successfully navigated the rooms, expressing alarm and surprise to discover himself at his starting point. Video footage and internal measuring device show that the subject did not deviate noticeably from a straight line, but nevertheless emerged on the other side of the corridor. The anomaly is confirmed. 895 is sealed closed and stored in an isolated underground containment cell at a depth of approximately 100 meters. No cameras, microphones, or other surveillance equipment may be brought within the 10-meter red zone radius of 895 without express permission from at least 2 level 3 personnel. 895 is an ornate oak coffin recovered from the blank mortuary by SCP personnel on blank blank blank, following reports of unusual footage captured by surveillance equipment installed at the location. Upon attempting to open 895, agents on location found the object empty. However, observers viewing the live camera feed were data expunged. Until further notice, 895 must remain closed at all times. 895 causes disruptions in video and photographic surveillance. Equipment within 50 meters, similar to vivid, disturbing hallucinations, was for variable duration and regularity corresponding to the camera's proximity to SCP-895. Within a range of 5 meters from 895, footage captured can cause severe physiological trauma and hysteria in most subjects. These disruptions do not extend to observers physically present within the area. Huh? This guy looks just like me. And it looks as if this is ID. Well, that's how we look like? That's not anything how I look like. First of all, I don't have a beard. Also, I don't wear a suit. And also, I have a more defined jawline. Yeah, I would say so. You could say that I guess I only have a mustache. It's like a trimmed mustache. My eyes look different than that. Can't tell what color his eyes are. They look like blue or something. My eyes are brown. I mean, I can't really tell because it's hard to see. And okay, 714 is to be stored in a reinforced high security locker that is to be accessible only to level 4+ personnel due to several incidents of misuse. Alright, if I get scared and it happens then. It happens. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, see what I'm talking about? Oh boy. My stamina is very low. What if I turn my back on him? Should I even try that? Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I mean, I know it was kind of a boring video since there wasn't much I did this video besides read. And I kind of lied. I said skip to the timestamp or whatever. If you guys want to skip me reading, however, I'm probably just going to title it me reading the things. I'll see you guys in the next SCP video. This is a new save, so that's a good thing. And also, I mean, I don't think I actually learned anything from reading the papers, because I did read all of them. Because you guys might be thinking, oh, did you just pick up the papers and not even read them and everything? I did. I mean, there might have been a couple of things I didn't know, like... Alright, anyways, I'm gonna see you guys next time.